Today we're at the Ministry of Environment's Wildlife Health Lab, demonstrating ways hunters can remove samples from their deer for chronic wasting disease testing. We have a female mule deer. The technician is going to start by checking where the last joint of the vertebrae is, where it meets the base of the skull. She does this by gently rocking the head back and forth. The technician will make a cut through the hide and the meat at this point to expose the base of the skull. The technician will then cut away the neck from the base of the skull to expose the opening to the brain cavity, where we will take the obex and the retropharyngeal lymph nodes. The technician now discards the rest of the neck and continues with the skull. Here we have the foramen magnum, the opening to the brain cavity, and the obex is the white tissue nestled inside the middle of it. When they go up from this position, they'll observe layers of meat, fat, and behind them, they'll find the retropharyngeal lymph nodes. Since the obex is a very sensitive tissue, we'll remove it by gently cutting around it, severing the connective tissue that holds it inside the skull. And finally release it by making a V cut deep into the skull. Ideally, a scalpel would be used for this, but a thin blade such as a filleting knife may be used also. Tweezers may be substituted by gently using a pair of pliers, such as a Leatherman or one used for fishing. Upon removing the obex, the hunter will observe this V shape. This is where we find the most concentrated amount of prions, which cause CWD. Once removed, this sensitive tissue needs to be placed immediately in a container and frozen as soon as possible to preserve it. The lymph nodes can be found inside of a layer of fat just above muscle and beside salivary gland. You can determine these tissues by their firm texture and glossy appearance. Once removed, the lymph node can be placed in the same container as the obex and frozen as soon as possible. When submitting either head or sample taken, the hunter should be sure to include personal information and information about the animal, such as species and sex.